The minority in Parliament is raising concerns on a possible conflict of interest between the Finance Minister, Akufo-Addo, and the recent 2.25 billion bond recently raised by the NPP government.
For the purposes of the record, Data Bank owns Enterprise Group as at 31st December 2015, when we checked, they own the bank Enterprise Group by 39.6%. It's conflict of interest.
They're calling for a parliamentary probe into the deal they describe as lacking transparency. The minority has also been describing the NPP government's 100 days in office as wasteful.
President Akufo-Addo has been wasteful and has not been candid with Ghanaians. Mr. President, prune down your 110 ministers now.
You recall the Vice President, Dr. Baumia, enumerated 103 achievements in 100 days under the Akufo-Addo-led government during JoyNews special town hall event.
I'm going to mention 103 achievements of this government in this last 100 days.
We'll be getting into the skin of the matter and probe the issue further with minority, get some responses from the majority, plus some independent analysis. All of these on today's big story. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. The minority in Parliament has been assessing the Akufo-Addo-led government, describing its first 100 days as wasteful and crying foul of the 110 ministers appointed by the president, which they say has worsened Ghana's economic situation. Let's listen to James Veji, who is deputy leader, who is a deputy ranking member of the Finance Committee of Parliament, who's making the allegation.
We wish to state plainly that what the president has done is far from protecting the purse. It constitutes a direct raid on the economy of the taxpayer. Maintaining the salaries and creature comforts for this large number army of ministers will severely burden the poor taxpayer. This appointment relates into 110 bungalows, 110 saloon cars, 110 V8 Toyota Land Cruisers, 110 bodyguards, 220 police guards in their bungalows, and on and on and on. More importantly, it represents a direct breach of his pledge to cut waste in public expenditure. He has acted in a way that will introduce more waste in government finances. Simply put, President Akufo-Addo has been wasteful and has not been candid with Ghanaians. Mr. President, prune down your 110 ministers now.
We can also listen to former Deputy Finance Minister Akufo-Addo, who's accusing the Minister for Finance of having a conflict of interest in a recent bond issued by the NPP government.
Franklin Templeton Investment Limited is an American global investment management organization founded in 1947. In an unaudited financial semi-annual report of Franklin Templeton Investment Limited, dated 31st December 2016, you can find it on the internet, Honorable Trevor J. Travagin was named as one of the 5 board of directors of the firm. He was also described as the chairman of the Enterprise Group Limited in the report. Enterprise Group Limited has 10 board of directors. Principal among them was Mr. Kelly Gajepo, Group Chief Executive of Enterprise Group, Dr. Angela Ofori-Atta, who is the wife of the Finance Minister, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta. Who doubles? Who doubles? Can I take that again? Because Trevor happens to be a board member of Templeton, and we checked, and straight away after checking, you notice that under their unaudited financial statement, it has an address that leads to Ghana. Surprisingly, we noticed that that address is a company called Enterprise Group. So we decided to find out who are the directors of Enterprise Group. So listen to me, who are the directors? The Enterprise Group has 10 board of directors. Principal among them is Mr. Kelly Gajepo, Group Chief Executive of Enterprise Group. Dr. Angela Ofori-Atta, wife of the Finance Minister. Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, who doubles as Director of Enterprise Insurance, a subsidiary of Enterprise Group. Enterprise Group also have the Minister of Justice and Attorney General, Honorable Gloria Akufo, and Dr. Angela Ofori-Atta as non-executive directors of the firm. Honorable Gloria Akufo was director of the Enterprise Life, a subsidiary of Enterprise Group. It is not clear whether she has resigned or not. It is now emerging that the firm that Trevor, Honorable Trevor J. Travagan, is a board member in, worked as a, participated on April 3rd, 2017 bond that was issued by his good friend, Honorable Finance Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, as noted, the information is now available in the public domain. Appears to indicate that Honorable Trevor J. Travagan is not just a board chairman of Enterprise Insurance Limited, a company owned partially by the current Finance Minister, and his company, Data Bank Limited. In fact, for the purposes of the record, Data Bank owns Enterprise Group as at 31st December 2015, when we checked. They own the bank, Enterprise Group, by 39.6%. It's conflict of interest.
Let's do some analysis now. And joining me in the studio is Ahmed Ibrahim, who is a member of parliament for Banda and his deputy chief whip. All right, you're welcome on today's big story. So the Akufo-Addo-led government, in fact, the vice president, Dr. Baumia, has enumerated 103 achievements. In fact, he says they have overperformed in 100 days. Why are you still saying that they've wasted everybody's time?
Yeah, my sister, before I proceed, let me say a very good evening to our cherished viewers. If this is the way the MPP administration is going to assess itself and give themselves these marks, while it is not reflecting the otherwise, the otherwise is what is reflecting on the lives of Ghanaians, then I pity Ghanaians in these days. Why am I saying this? The very foundation of every governance, or the basis for establishing government, or the essence of government at all, is security, justice, and the making of laws to control human behavior. Don't think that there can be any developmental activity if there is no peace. So when you are in government and you don't know the very, the essence of your existence, then you mark yourself this way and give yourself this mark this way. Before the essence of modern governance, we were living in the era of jungle, the survival of the fittest, where there were no laws to control human behavior. The reason why people could not survive in that jungle was the reason why they brought about the essence of government. That let's establish a government and sign a social contract with that government, so that that government will be responsible for you and I, our security. So when Ghanaians sign a social contract with you, say the MPP administration come and take charge of the affairs of Ghana, and Akufo-Addo come and be the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, then you come and Ghanaians sleep with one eye closed, one eye open. And you mark yourself and give yourself 103 achievements within 100 days.
When you say it's not reflecting in people's life, what exactly are you talking about?
It's not reflecting in people's life because we are in that. I don't want to go into the era of the post-infrastructural development. That one will have another press conference and come to that. But I'm just assessing them based on the just mere maintenance of law and order. That one, they've gotten it wrong.
But is that all it takes to assess?
That is the very foundation. If where we are standing, we are on the first floor. So if the foundation is wrong, can you and I be standing here assessing ourselves? No. The very foundation of governance in Ghana is wrong. The glorious Ghana, where even the entire world were able to give a Ghanaian to be the Secretary General of the United Nations, because Africa, Ghana is the lone star of Africa. Kwame Nkrumah Ghana, President Akufo-Addo Ghana, President Rawlings Ghana, Asunye Hine, the late Professor Mills Ghana, John Mahama Ghana. Now, Ghana is now being branded, rebranded as one of the chaotic countries on the continent. There is no peace. To the extent that the United Nations had to speak that Ghana should call that emerging terrorist to order. Does it fit you well that you are a Ghanaian and such comments are being made about you? Ghanaian, wherever you emerge as a Ghanaian, people were proud of us, the lone star and the beacon of democracy in Africa. Now, is that what you are witnessing? We give our peace to you. We stand our social contract with you. If you cannot ensure man, peace, and security, you just come and you are playing with it.
We also saw vigilante groups like the Azoka Boys and all of that. So
did we bring Serbians and South Africans, international mercenaries and terrorists to train Azoka Boys? Don't get it wrong.
But do you have evidence that the NPP is training
the South Africans were here. You saw them. They were arrested and deported. The Serbians were here. Go and interview Paula Foko. These are things that happen in Ghana. Don't let us not play with them. These are things that happened. These are people that were brought in Ghana. Why is it that we could not find even if that is what they wanted to do? If not international medicine, international orchestration about how mercenaries and terrorism should go, why should you bring international air servicemen to come and train your party youth wing on ways of balloting, handling ammunition?
So for you, when it comes to security,
the manifestations of that is what you are witnessing today. Okay. Then you say that the president has condemned them. If you are the president of Ghana, you must live beyond condemnation and act.
Okay,
and
so what exactly did you expect him to do? Because I heard the president charging the security agencies, the IGP, to take a charge of the situation. What else did you expect the president to do?
That is where things are even worse. When we came to power in 2009, a youth organizer of the NDC party in Eastern region dared the commander-in-chief of the president of the Republic of Ghana at that time, simply because he was an NDC member. The president did not just condemn it. The president did not talk. He did not lament. He acted. NDC, we act. We work. Others talk.
Really? All right. So let's listen to the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, who enumerated 103 achievements in 100 days. And we can continue with this discussion.
Even though we've not made any 100-day promises, I am here to say that we can point to some significant achievements in these last 100 days. Specifically, I'm going to mention 103 achievements of this government in this last 100 days. We inherited a difficult economic situation. You had a situation where the fiscal or the finances of government was in very bad shape. But we had made promises to the people of Ghana. We're going to reduce taxes. We're going to restore teacher training allowances. We're going to restore nursing training allowances, bring in one district, one factory, one village, one dam. We had $1 million for each constituency. And at the same time, we said that we're going to bring down the fiscal deficit and increase government revenue. Well, many people thought this was an impossible task. A lot of economists wondered, how are you going to do all these things? But this was the background against which we went into the budget discussions for 2017. And thankfully, by the grace of God, we have been able to accomplish what many people thought was impossible.
So that was the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You heard him. And after listening to 103 achievements, he called it one achievement a day plus one addition. You still think that it's a waste of everybody's time in 100 days?
My sister, you heard Dr. Bawumia say shy away of their 100-day promise by emphatically stating that the MPP led by Nana Akufo-Addo, candidate Akufo-Addo at that time, did not make any 100-day promise. Dr. Bawumia should go and revise his note.
All right,
Nana Akufo-Addo said within 100 days they will pay all contractors. They haven't paid a single contractor.
Let me have you hold and speak with Kwaku Kwate, who is Deputy Minister for Finance. Indeed, former Finance Minister Akufo-Addo is accusing the NPP government. Of course, he's saying that there is some conflict of interest between the Minister of Finance and the 2.25 billion bond which was issued recently. He is pointing at the highest bidder of this bond, who's the chairman of Dr. Ofori-Atta's company, Enterprise Insurance. And you know Dr. Ofori-Atta is the wife of Finance Minister. And that's where the conflict of interest come in. How do you respond to this?
To start with, thank you and good evening to your listeners. It is important that we lay some background before I even come to this conflict of interest point.
Right.
In 2015, November 2015, government issued a 5-year bond, and it was patronized by Franklin Templeton. This is November 2015. The rate on it, the interest government paid on that borrowing was 24%.
Right.
In June 2016, another 5-year bond, 24.5% was the interest we paid on it. Franklin Templeton participated in that. In fact, in November 2016, sometime before the election, there was a 10-year bond. And this time around, the Mama government got a rate that was better than before. It was 19.00%. Now, what has happened now in April 2017 is that we have a 750 million, but that's also a 10-year bond, and the rate on it is 19.00%.
Right.
I'm making this, in fact, in total, Franklin Templeton participated in bond issues by the previous Mama administration to the tune of 3.8 billion Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Same company. I'm just saying this to lay the facts clear that this FD, and I mean Franklin Templeton company, is not some new company that this new government came and brought into this country for the purposes of achieving the things the minority are attributing to this government. So if anybody is talking about the rate, I think the 19.00% the NDC managed to get with Franklin Templeton participating in November 2016 10-year facility was good, because from 25.5, if you look at 19, it was good. If you compare it, this is cedi denominated. If you compare it with the dollar-denominated facility that we were taking, 10.75, 9, almost 10%. If you do the computation, you see that this is a much better facility. So, you know, in November 2016, we did well, and then in 2017 too, we have done well. Now, this information I have provided. Hello?
Yes, you're still on today's big story.
This information we have provided is on page 14 of the annual debt management report, which is of 2016, which is already in Parliament, is in public domain. Page 14, annual debt management report 2016, that is in Parliament and it's in public. So this is the background. Now you ask, is there conflict of interest?
Definitely.
Now, what I am saying, I work for government. I have no interest in Franklin Templeton's company, and therefore if anybody is keen that anybody has interest, the burden is on them to demonstrate this. Now, I have no inhibition. If government, the minority wants a parliamentary inquiry, I support it. If they want to go to shrug, I support it. If they, wherever they want to go, I support, because in the end, I think it would only uncover the facts, and if people have to be punished, then they'll be punished.
But do you agree that there could be some conflict of interest regarding that the wife of the finance minister is a chairman or is a member of the board of governors of the enterprise insurance? In fact, she owns the company, we're told.
So, I don't know. As I speak to you, I don't know. And what I'm asking the minority to do is to put the evidence on this in the public domain, or if they want a parliamentary inquiry, so be it. I'm not opposed to it. What I think it's my responsibility as an official of government is to explain, as I have done, that the facility that has been taken is in the national interest, and that it is not that this is a new investor in Ghana, and that the NDC administration has been working with not just this investor, but several other investors that will continue to invest in Ghana and therefore will be engaging with. So long as listeners and Ghanaians understand that this is not a new investor, we have always done business with them, and the rates are the best we've been able to get since we started doing business with Franklin Templeton, then it puts some meaning to the accusation that this is some conflict of interest that is supposed to give this nation. So when we got 19% previously, was it a bad deal? Was it motivated by conflict of interest?
This conflict of interest is the reason why Akufo-Addo says that the deal was done in secrecy and Ghanaian investors were denied the opportunity to participate in the bidding. Is that true?
Well, you mean that all the outings that the Bank of Ghana has been doing on behalf of government is in secrecy? Is it a question that even if the minority was putting this question across? Wait, the question should be put to the minority, that in what way was it done in secrecy? That they did not hear the announcement? That in what way? What do you mean by secrecy? Look, I think that the challenge, the burden is now on the minority to go to shrug or to go to seek parliamentary inquiry, or wherever they want to, they should do that so that the fact would be made clear and that it could be demonstrated that indeed somebody because they have a conflict of interest, they have acted in a way that has hurt the interest of the country. The burden is on them. What I can do is to explain that the facility is good, is comparable with what the previous administration did, and I think that government should have no regrets having gone into this transaction.
All right. Many thanks to you. Akufo-Addo is the Deputy Finance Minister, and he's been explaining, after listening to his explanation, do you still insist that this deal lacks transparency?
My sister, you see, I was on the point, but because we've asked this specific question,
we'll go back to that
then
point.
We'll go back to
right.
their promises they are running away from. At the vetting, they ran away from some of the promises. 100 days, they are running away from some. Okay. By 4 years, they will deny that we didn't even write a manifesto.
Do you still insist that
but
the
let's
bond
come on the issue of the bond.
Right.
How many days did the process take in building the book, at the book building stage? Right. 1 day. In our time, we used to spend 3 days to allow optimum participation by local investors. Right. That is why we're saying that if you are issuing a bond today, you open it this morning, by 5 o'clock, you close 1 day. It prevent other local investors from taking part in it.
But did you check that there were some
argument,
local people who participated and were not giving the chance
to
do so?
They said, but they didn't give us names. That is why we are calling for an inquiry into the issue. You see, we are not doing this just because we are in minority. Right. But we want to do it so that we set the issues clear. Whether they followed due process, they allow more time for at least the minimum 3 days that we were doing in our time, for local investors to be able to participate in that, whether they did that or not. That's what we want to know. When that happens, then you come to the Attorney General, you come to the wife of the Finance Minister, as they being board members in those kind of things. I heard the Attorney General, she said she resigned
She's no longer.
She's no longer. She resigned from 1st of April.
Okay.
Effective 1st of April.
All right.
Meaning, as at the time that she was going for vetting and being sworn in and those kind of things, she was still a member.
She was still a member.
She was. But you and I know, if you work in multimedia, and even you resign just with less than 2 days or 3 days, and we are coming to do some transaction here, you will have more level platform than I will have.
Well,
but
it will depend on the situation.
If your husband is the finance minister and he is going to issue a bond, and you are a chief executive or a board of director of a company, and that company happened to be successful, you open it for only 1 day, and your company, your husband is doing it, and your company successfully come and be the winner, then that one is for Ghanaians to judge. That is why we are calling for a parliamentary inquiry. And if even the MPP know they are coming with clean hands, they should call for even a public parliamentary inquiry where the wife of the finance minister will appear before the committee. Whatever she has to say, she'll come and say it. The attorney general, whatever she will say, she'll come and say it. The minister for finance, whatever she will say, she'll come and say. That is why we are calling for it.
You know what baffles me?
We are not doing it.
Your problem with the 110 ministers that Akufo-Addo has appointed, because he has explained that it's because of the huge problems you created. The huge mess needs huge personnel to fix it. Why are you still complaining?
If you read the political development of Ghana, Akufo-Addo's government, they were...
Well, we're running out of time.
No,
so
they were in the era of the Unigov, and this is the Unigov revisited. The 110 ministers, I pity Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo is coming with a party with 3 factions. The Kufuor faction, let me give you 30%.
Well,
the Akufo-Addo faction, let me give you 30%. The Alantamati faction, let me give you 30%. And that is how come he has 110 ministers. He should come out and deny this. That is it.
All right.
He is appointing ministers just to solve party problems. And you will not tell us.
Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim is MP for Banda. So we've been talking about all the accusations by the NDC, the bond conflict of interest, and the assessment of 100 days of the Akufo-Addo-led government in office. My name is Aisha. Many thanks for watching. Have a good evening.